Good evening and welcome to the Town of Proctor Select Board meeting of January 12th. If you please join us for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Oh, jeez. These chairs move.
I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. The first order of business is to review and approve the agenda. A motion would be in order.
So moved. Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously. Motion would be in order for the December 22nd, 2025 Select Board meeting minutes.
Motion to approve?
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously. Open public comment and good stuff. Is there anyone that would like to speak to open public comment? Oh, good stuff?
Good stuff, yes.
Okay. Go ahead.
John Burns recently reached the 50 years of service with the Proctor Fire Department.
It's amazing.
And his brother-in-law, Stan DeVita, has 55 years. Can you imagine between the two of them, they have 105 years of service.
Wow, that's
To the
amazing.
town. That is amazing.
It is. It's
Yeah, good stuff.
Pretty impressive.
Yeah. All right, anything else? Hearing none. The bills circulated, everybody signed those.
Yes.
So the first order of business is the Otter Creek Watershed Insect Control District.
Well, thank you. I'm Jeff Sheeran, I'm the chair. This is Jeff Whiting, he's the vice chair. We want to thank you as a board for your support, and also thank the members of your representative group. Proctor is probably the best represented town in the district. You guys always have two, and most of the time have three people at every meeting. So your voice is well heard. Your representatives speak their minds, and they are dialed into exactly what we're doing. We also want to thank Albert, who's serving as our auditor, and the books of the Otter Creek Watershed Insect Control District have been a challenge for years, and with his hard work and that of our treasurer, Doug Perkins from Leicester, they are getting it figured out. And I know Bruce is serving on that finance committee, and he's sat in on many of those meetings. So we're getting a lot of things taken care of. We started off last year, though, in an interesting way. We decided not to retain any of our staff and hire all new people. And that made a bit of a challenge. It took us a while to hire people and then get them trained and licensed. And we got a little behind the eight ball. We didn't get our trucks rolling until the first week of June. Once we did, though, we got 92 spray missions accomplished over the course of the summer. Really heavy up and through the first part of August, and then it dried out. Which was good because we were running out of money, and then the mosquitoes dried up, and we saved the year with the budget, so we did okay. We learned a heck of a lot. We made some huge capital improvements. We replaced 3 trucks with 1990s vintage trucks with 2010, 11, 12 vintage trucks, which for us are brand new. These things, it was a lot better. And we've moved to the strategy of using one species of truck. We're going to use Toyota Tacomas for our spray trucks so that we can keep replacing them. If we have one that breaks down, we have a parts backup thing for it. So that's kind of what we're going to go with. And then all the drivers will become familiar with driving the same kind of truck. We replaced our technology in the lab. We bought 2 computers, replaced our antique ones. We've got microscopes that we can hook up to larger monitors for training our staff. We got another printer. We got another large screen monitor, so that'll help. We used a lot of the money from our grant from the year before. The state, we made an arrangement with them that they let us use the money to improve the quality of our labs. We bought a lot of new lab equipment. We bought all new surveillance testing, 17 new, or I think a dozen new traps for out in the field. And in that group of folks that we hired 2 interns, ecology, environmental science student from Middlebury College and one from Louisiana. And they did the bulk of the work during the day, going out and getting all the testing data for us, getting it all ready, writing a lot of the reports and taking care of a lot of that for us. So that we did some improvements to the building. We put air conditioning and a heat source up in the two labs. They had in-window air conditioners that weren't very good before. We put split units up on the walls. That made a huge difference. And then we did some security upgrades, put some cameras in and around so we can monitor what's going on in the building when we're not there. We put new Wi-Fi in the building, so it's come along. We still have some other needs. But before we talk about those, I want to talk a little bit about the arrangement we have with the Lemon Fair District. The Lemon Fair District got a grant for $75,000 over 2 years to explore larvicide treatments with drones. And we all went to, or Jeff went to, and I wasn't able to make it, but went to a demonstration on drones from a company from, was it New York? Rochester, New York. And we watched what they did, and we said, you know, we don't want to own a drone. We don't want to hire a FAA certified pilot who's also licensed to spread mosquito chemicals. We'd rather rent this guy and have him come do it. And they decided the same thing. So now they've got $75,000 that they were going to use to buy a drone, and they said they would be willing to split it with us. So next year, if we can find larvae and we can get the drone guy in here, Lemon Fair is going to pay for a good part of that. We've got a lot of chemical. We can probably contribute chemical. They'll contribute the rental of the drone guy, and so that's looking pretty good for next year. Our big challenge is going to be getting out into the field.
It's this year now, Jeff.
Yeah, well, it is this year. Next mosquito season, let's just
So
say.
the drone actually sprays?
Yes. I went to the demonstration. It actually is computer programmed so that it covers, and we covered about a 4-acre section. The first thing they do is they map the corners of it, and then they uniformly spread and meter, dropping the pellets of larvicide. Over that, they can exclude, you know, if there's a tree that they've got to avoid. And we actually put cups out to see if they were getting the right amount for that small area. And it was very uniform, and we were supposed to put out 10 pounds of material in that space, and we ended up dispensing 10.04 pounds.
Oh, that's pretty
So
good.
it's very impressive technology. I'm not sure what the maintenance requirements are for it, but it's all done by computer and GPS.
So, and that's strictly just for the larvae, right?
Yes,
you're
larvae.
using it, okay.
But we did not have a great larvicide year, nor did Lemon Fair. So one of the reasons is we can't get out into the areas, and doing it by hand, you miss the window. So we're hopeful that, that you know, working with this company, we can do a better job. The state's supportive of it. They'd like us to do more larviciding. We'll be meeting with them in the next couple of weeks to talk about, you know, reducing some of their thresholds and their regulations to allow us to do that a little bit more. We have two major things that we need to accomplish from a capital improvement standpoint going forward. We would really like to get running water and a septic system into our facility. We don't have that right now. We have a permit in place to do that. And we estimate the cost to be somewhere around $50,000, and we probably have about just a little over half of that in our capital improvement budget. So we're going to continue to try to build that. Again, we have good years and we save some money, we can put a little extra money into that. And when we don't have such good years, then we have to tap into it. So I don't know how long it'll take us to get there to have the money to do that, but that's something we need to do. And the other thing that we've been wrestling with is a sustainable leadership structure. Because we are a seasonal type thing, it's really hard to find someone who was going to run this operation for us as an employee. It's a seasonal job, it doesn't pay benefits, it's probably nothing you can make a career out of, so we need to find the exact right person.
You're not selling it really well.
And the problem being that because we can't find that person, Albert and myself and Jeff and those of us who are on the executive board are carrying the load. And it's becoming overwhelming. It's becoming a 30 to 40 hour a month job, And we're all too old for jobs. We don't want jobs. We had jobs, we don't want jobs anymore. We'd like to sit on the board, and I know you guys all volunteer a lot of your time, and so do we. But that sustainably down the road, you know, we can't even find someone who will come in and take our spots, and we're the ones right now with the knowledge of how this works. We need to find somebody. So we're asking, if you have someone who's retired who'd like to make some money in the summer, or someone who's got a winter thing who needs something to do in the summer, we got to find the right individual to slide into this role and take it over for us and help us keep this thing going and really build the knowledge while those of us around can help that person get up to speed. So that's going to be one of our challenges going forward, is figuring out how to keep the leadership sustainable and the operation functioning as it rolls forward, because you know, we're not going to be here forever to do this. And we're ready to answer any questions you might have.
Okay, does anybody have any questions?
You guys get to ask your questions every month.
Yeah. The only thing that came to mind when you were talking was, how do you determine a target? Is it the testing as to where to drop? Like say if you were using a drone.
Yeah.
And you're trying to determine a target.
Yeah, the state right now requires us to go out with a cup on the end of a stick, dip it in the water 10 times, and average 10 larvae per dip. So we have to do 10 dips and find 100 larvae. If we have that, then we can treat that body of water. The thing is, it's not as easy as it sounds. When the larvae aren't stupid, they see the shadow coming, they scatter. So you have to, you have to get kind of good at knowing how to scoop to find them, and then find the scoop.
What would oh God, it's right from my head, the title be for that job?
What?
The title for that job. What would it, I'm just curious, I was making a joke, actually.
The larva scooper?
Yeah. We're calling those our field biologist interns. We send our interns out to do
There you
that.
go.
And there are also other ones, larvae, that hang really close, like in cattails. And the state has actually given us permission to larvicide, where we're finding the adults in our traps, but we're not finding the larvae because we know they're in tight on the cattails and you just can't get them in a dipping cup. But they're there. We know they're there.
So does the state allow you, when you look at the maps that are mapped, or were mapped like in wetlands, that we know that are difficult to get to, but you know they're wet, to use that? I mean, if you're gonna be using a drone, because, I mean, we have a lot of areas that kind of, like, let's say down on Elm Street, that are around recreational facilities, but you're probably not gonna, you know, hit that threshold.
Yeah, go ahead.
Basically, what we do is we go around the edge of that wetland. And if we get the 10 cups with 10 larvae in
Yeah.
it over the period, that area, that we can use that as representative of 100 square meters, I think.
Oh, okay.
So that
You have some
we can
depth, yeah.
do that body, or that section of that body of water. If it's
Gotcha.
a bigger body of water, you've got to go down further and sample there.
Yeah,
And so you can it qualifies you to do 100 square meters, something like that, or 100 meters by 100 meters square, I should say.
and so just, we often hear, like last summer when we didn't spray for a while, people said, oh, mosquitoes are awful at our house. From year to year, do you move where you have to collect the mosquitoes to spray, or is that static? Every year it's in the same place?
First of all, we need permission from the landowner to put the track there.
Sure,
We don't want it right next to a busy highway where somebody that doesn't agree with what we're doing doesn't vandalize it.
right,
And generally speaking, we know where we've had complaints routinely over the years that get us qualified. And the threshold is not 0 mosquitoes, it's collecting 40 biting mosquitoes over a 24-hour period in the trap.
Okay,
And the only mosquitoes that bite are females because of the blood.
not surprising, but yeah.
No, because they need blood to develop their eggs in. So we can only count the females. The male's function is done immediately. The female grows the eggs, lays the eggs, and
Yeah.
so on. And there are certain species that do not bite humans, and we cannot count those. So we've got these two women that we had, the interns this year, with a microscope,
Yep,
counting, identifying the difference between males and females, mosquito by mosquito, counting them, getting at least 40.
okay. And how many traps do we have set out in Proctor?
What we do is the track data is good for a week, so that if what we'll do is, and the way we organize them doing the tracking is they start at the south end of the district, which is Proctor, work their way over a 5-day period, the work week, to the north end of the district, and set out about 10 to 12 traps a day over those 5 days, spread among the 6 towns. And in Proctor, we have three spray routes. And so we've got a track on each of those. And if we're not getting mosquitoes and we're getting complaints, we may talk to the landowner that's complaining and put the track where they say that there are mosquitoes.
Sure, okay,
So that's a long description of what we do.
okay,
And so at the end of the week, we're up in Salisbury. Monday, we're back in Proctor,
gotcha,
unless we have rainy weather.
yeah,
If the traps if it's heavy rain, fill with water, and it's a gooey mass when you pick it up, so if it's pouring rain in the forecast, we don't trap that day. So
gotcha,
we get off from that Monday through Friday scenario if that's the case.
gotcha, okay,
And as soon as we've got the track results, the next day, we're doing that area. So day 1 of the spray week, we may start Proctor and one of the Pittsford routes, and then Pittsford, Brandon, working our way north, following the sample.
sure, okay. All right, does anybody out here have a question, comment? Okay,
Okay.
I think we're good to go. Thank you very much for coming, we appreciate that and the information, it's helpful.
Yeah, and thank you for your support. I think you have our end of the year report. I think the
Yes.
treasurer's report just came out.
Right.
So you should have that as well.
Okay,
See you guys next month.
all right,
Thank you very much.
thanks.
Take care, guys.
All right, the next item on the agenda is Proctor subdivision regulations and zoning regulations. So, the board received a copy of the subdivision regulations, and I don't know if anybody from Planning Commission just wants to give an overview of the genesis for the subdivision regulations, or?
What section would that be?
I mean, the genesis is to come into compliance with the new Act 250 laws that will allow us to better review locally different projects that may come in without Act 250. So if we're a village tier 1, we can just review it, the project, without Act 250 involvement, is my understanding.
So I guess that's part of the kind of question and discussion because, well, there wasn't a map with this. And I don't know if there is a map that goes along with it, but there wasn't a map attached to the copy that we received. So
I think Logan left quicker than we thought, because he was showing us maps, but we never got.
okay, so
I mean, this impacts the whole town, so it's not like zoning districts where you need a map to see where the district is that's being affected. This affects the whole town.
okay, and I guess that's like a little point of confusion because when we talk about it and you talk about how you exempt it, it only exempts it in tier 1, right? Tier 1A and 1B. Like it wouldn't exempt it in tier 2 or tier 3. They would still fall under Act 250.
Right.
So the only place that it really, does it fall for the whole town or does it really just concentrate on the village center and designation?
Well, no, subdivision would affect the whole town. These regulations, if you're subdividing anywhere in town, you would have to follow this document. Whether it's tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, it doesn't matter. If you're subdividing, you would subdivide based on this document. The state might have more involvement, and the Act 250, if you're doing the 10 lot, 3 lot, 5 lot subdivision, then the state, then you may need Act 250 approval also.
Well, I mean, you would.
Yes.
For tier
For
2
or
and
3,
tier
yeah.
3. So I guess when we read through this and you looked at zoning, so what are you doing? Taking all subdivision out of zoning?
Subdivision's never been in zoning other than, I shouldn't say it's never been in, but other than creating legal lots.
Right.
Subdivision has never been in the zoning. You have to create a legal lot under our current zoning.
Right, and it talks about site development in here, what it talks, so are you taking all of that out of zoning?
No, you can still leave it in zoning, that's fine, it can cross-reference. The way Logan was going to set it up, and I'm not sure who's going to follow up from the regional commission with us to move this forward. But, I mean, you know, we could remove it from zoning. To me, I don't think it makes a whole lot of difference. There's no conflict that I saw between the zoning document and this document. I mean, on this one, it just basically says you have to create a legal lot. To create a legal lot, then you go to the subdivision regulations to create that legal lot.
But my understanding through the regional planning commission was that this one, the tier 1B, is just for village properties.
That's right.
So that's what this subdivision was created for, is just the village.
No, it's for the whole town.
But that's all we're doing is applying for
If the
tier 1B.
library wanted to subdivide some of their land up in Forest Reserve or some of the other districts, you would still have to follow this document, regardless of where you are in the town. It's not just tier 1B. It will.
Because that's what it was just meant to be, is tier 1B.
It will make it easier to subdivide in tier 1 because the state will not get involved.
Right.
But you still have to do subdivision. If you're, regardless of what zoning district you're in and you're doing a subdivision, you still have to follow the guidelines in this document. The state may get involved then under Act 250 if it falls under their jurisdiction. But you still have to get the town subdivision regardless of what district you're in, and you may have to get state approval through Act 250.
So when the planning commission reached out to us, they basically said it was just tier 1B that we were applying for, that we were trying to get into our.
This makes us
our
eligible
zoning
to be a tier
regulations.
1 town.
Right. But that tier 1B that they were focusing on was just the village. Only the village.
Well, you have to have subdivision regulations to have your tier 1B.
Right,
So that's what this is.
right.
But the subdivision also includes all the other districts in town, not just this village center.
Beyond the tier 1B.
Right.
So he was doing the whole subdivision for everything, not just focusing on the.
Well, yeah, you can't do that.
that
You can't pick
village.
and choose where you're gonna do subdivision.
Well,
If you have
it was,
subdivision,
when
you can have different regulations in
Right.
different parts of the town.
But when the planning commission came to me and asked about doing this, they only talked about tier 1B and only the village.
Because that was
Get
that was what the
that
state was
into the-
making, that state was causing that to be the priority.
Right, because it was just focusing on housing, like increasing housing, like 50 units, up to 50
Whatever,
units
yeah,
within
whatever
10
the- I
acres.
don't know the number, but whatever
Yeah.
the numbers are.
So that's
So
my
that was the
understanding.
impetus to do subdivision, so that we could have tier 1B in Proctor.
Right,
But this subdivision document will affect
beyond that.
the entire town.
Okay, I guess, some of the concerns that we had when we read through it was that, it, appears in the document to give authority for, curb cuts, streets, and those kinds of things, and just, I mean, there's a lot of different places where it talks about that in here, and we know that, you know that, and Tom knows that from being on the select board, that the curb cut and those kinds of things lay with the highway commissioner and, town manager. So there was some concern about the verbiage of that in here and how those were, seemed to be delegated to the planning commission, because that's one reason we've had this, that permit application has been in place. I mean, it was,
That's fine, yeah, I mean, if you want to, I mean, it's ultimately the select board that's going to adopt it, so whatever you're comfortable with, you need to put that language in.
well, I mean, I think it would be good that if the planning commission in concert with the select board was good about what the document says, because in essence, once the document is adopted, it would be the planning commission that is going to be the one enforcing and overseeing the document.
Well, no,
So-
if the select board wants to have control of curb cuts, then we can put that in, that you have to have a town or a town curb cut permit. You can add that, that's no big deal.
Sure.
It's just a sentence.
Well, I think it's in here in several places. And I guess there is some concern if the zoning regulations are saying exactly the same. It does appear that there are some places where there is conflict. And there are places where the verbiage just seems, not defined when it says, like, for example, it says, where necessary in the judgment of the planning commission. So,
What page are you on?
that's page 11. It's L. So, it's like, what's gonna trigger that criteria for someone and not for someone else? That, you know, what's the basis of where necessary in the judgment of the planning commission? And I'm sure that's probably some kind of template verbiage.
I mean, it's during the subdivision review. I mean, you know, anytime anytime the planning commission does a review, it's always going to be under their opinion or authority or whatever. You know, whether you do a site plan review, planned residential development review, whatever the review is, the planning commission is going to have the authority to approve it or not approve it based on whatever conditions they decide, and that's under state statute. I mean, select boards don't review projects.
No,
The planning commission does.
we're not suggesting that.
No, I know that, but I mean, that's,
And underneath that, it says, access points to public roads, so that would be, like, that could be a curb cut point there. I mean, I don't know what that's supposed to mean. The other one, 6, where it encompasses the capital budget, there are a lot of, different areas in here. Do you know who the regional planning person is going to be that's gonna come and,
no, we haven't had any information from them.
okay. Another concerning, one was on page 4, under section 103C, where it says, all applicants for subdivision review are encouraged to notify abutting landowners. doesn't that come at the responsibility of the commission that's reviewing it? I mean, what's to make someone notify abutters?
Well, that's for the pre-application meeting. So that's just, you know, they want to come and talk to the planning commission just in very general terms. So that's the pre-application meeting, and
I understand.
they may not want to notify their abutters yet. They may want to just get input from the planning commission as to what their thoughts are, what they may need to do, what other information they may require, without getting all of their neighbors involved. And you know, some people don't get along with their neighbors. But when you get to the actual review, if it's required to notify the abutters, then you notify the abutters.
Okay, so it's just a what-if clause then in there?
Yeah, well, for a for a pre-hearing, or a pre-whatever.
It could change the price on things too when you start.
Okay. Did anyone else have any questions or comments?
Yeah, I just, a couple of questions about the, the document itself. And that on page 2, section 101, number B, boy 2, subdivision applications may be handled by the zoning administrator and shall be referred to as minor subdivisions if they're 2 or less, under 3, I guess was
Right.
the term. So we have minor subdivisions. They can be approved by the zoning administrator, and then you don't have to subject those to the provisions of the sections that are listed there.
Correct.
I just call that out because I'm going to make reference to that. When you go to page 8, section 108, now that is, and it says so at the end of plat recording requirements, applies to all approved subdivisions. And this 108 is applicable for the minor subdivisions. And yet it says, the applicant shall file 1 copy of the final subdivision plat. And I'm thinking, well, the plat is created by section 105 and 107. 105 is subdivision application contents, and 107 is preliminary, that's the final approval of the plat. And those 2 items are not applicable for minor subdivisions. So how can you say, those 2 aren't applicable, and then over here say that, well, they have to have a plat?
Well, for a minor, apparently that's no different than what's in the zoning right now. So right now, the zoning administrator can approve a 2-lot subdivision without, I don't believe they have to be recorded, I may be mistaken.
Well, this says section 108 does have to, the minor subdivision has to comply with section 108, and 108 says you have to file a plat. And the plat is created by 105 and 107. Well, the minor subdivision doesn't have to comply with 105 or 107, so where does he get the plat?
Well, it's going to be submitted as part of the application. You have to submit a subdivision application.
Yeah, but you don't have to have a plat to go with it.
Well, you have to have some sort of plan that shows him
Well,
what
this
he's
says
going
you
to
don't.
do.
That's what I'm saying, is when I read this
You
document,
still have
it
to
says-
have a plan that shows where the lot lines for the subdivision are, where the lot line adjustment is going to be.
but when you read 105, subdivision application contents, it tells you plat, plan, plat, mapping requirements. Here's a table that tells you all the requirements that you need to submit. And we're saying, well, for the minor subdivision, you don't have to comply with that. So the only question is, in 108, it says you have to have a plat, you know. In 101, it says, no, you don't have to comply with having a plan plat. You know, I don't need an answer on that, but, you know, it's just,
Yeah, no,
it's just a little confusing in that.
Well, yeah, no, I mean,
One says
that's why you have another set of eyes and another board look at it. I mean, you
And-
can catch stuff. You know,
and-
I'm not arguing with it.
Yeah, no,
So do
and
you
that's-
think it's possible at the next, planning commission meeting do you think Rutland Regional is gonna come and,
They haven't contacted us, I have no idea.
okay. So that we could come and, talk with them and talk with you to see, like, if our changes
Yeah, I
or
mean, I don't know.
how our suggestions can be intertwined
Sure.
and made in there so that, you know, so, because we can sit here and we can all understand it, because we're dealing with this, but the goal is you're giving it to, I mean, yes, professionals, but also lay people. And so that you want them to be able to understand it clearly also. So, and that's the goal. We just want it to be a document. If nobody understands it and there's conflicts, then the document isn't doing what we want it to do.
I'll reach out to the planning commission
Yeah.
and, cause I met with them last week on other issues, but we talked about this because they're kind of short-staffed right now, cause people leaving and
Yep.
stuff, so, and we've had the conversation about Logan leaving, so, I'll reach out to Devin and figure out if he's gonna be, my guess is he might be the one that we can go to for clarification and stuff like that and more help. But, I'll find out if it's somebody different, so.
Our next meeting is February 5th, and so ideally we do it then, but if we need to shift it, you know, ahead or back, you know, for his
Yep.
schedule, we can. And will you, as a board, have time to accumulate your list of questions or comments?
Well, I think we've had the drafts, so we've all made comments on our drafts.
Yep.
So, and highlighted things that we think that were in conflict or, should be removed or changed.
Can you
And I was just gonna
accumulate
call it
those?
one more conflict, Lisa, in that, section 107 on page 7 is, a final plan review. Or, no, let me, that was for the previous one. On page 8, section 109, it shows A, and then on page 9, it shows B. In section 101, it says 9B for the simple subdivision is not applicable. And in here, there's a middle sentence in here that says, you know, it is. Again, there's one of those where there's a conflict. It's telling me in 101, it doesn't apply, and 9B, it says it does apply, you know, for a minor subdivision. So that's one you may want to look at. And then the only other thing is there are a number of places that references made to sections. The sections don't exist, you know, so I can give somebody, you know, those that I noticed, you know, that they should be corrected.
That's a common thing, you know, you
Yeah.
update, you know, add a section, you don't renumber things, and there's all these
Yeah,
things.
there's a
I
number.
mean, that was, Logan did acknowledge that there were going to be, and that was going to be one of his final cleanup.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
I mean, we did acknowledge that there were going to be discrepancies,
Sure.
and, you know, just like referring to some of the sections in the zoning regulations had to be adjusted. You know, we hoped we had caught most of them, but Logan said that was one of his things, was to go through and do a final cleanup so that everything, you know, followed along properly.
Okay. All right, so I think it'll be great if we, have Judy touch base with Rutland Regional, if they can come to the February meeting. Definitely, attend, and we can talk about some of our concerns and changes and see if those make sense in meshing, in the document.
Yep,
Once I talk to him, what I'll do is email everybody.
Sure.
If there's any more clarifications from them, or like next steps, or any, like, questions we had raised here, if they can answer those ahead of time, and I'll just email everybody so you have that information ahead of time.
Sure, great. Yeah. But I mean, everybody does understand though that this document does apply to the whole town, not just the village center here. Yeah.
Well, I think, and that was the confusing part, because when Rutland Regional did come and all this stuff they sent about 181, it only talks about tier 1A and
Right.
tier 1B,
Yep.
and about exempting Act 250 for those tiers. So they gave the impression that you were changing subdivision and changing things so that you were exempt from 250. And it made it appear that it was just for those areas. And I mean, even this document probably needs to have a better introductory piece to it about subdivision if it's gonna be a standalone document.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, I mean, I mean, tier 1 was the trigger for this.
Yeah,
I mean, that's all that was. And,
Well, like-
so you have to write a subdivision document that applies to everything so that tier 1 gets included, or exempted rather, from Act 250.
and it's probably a stretch for us to even qualify for tier, when you look at what they say within that, with the number of housing or the units that you have to trigger to be exempt from it. It's not like if you do something, you build a house or something like that. So I just think that maybe that also, and maybe they should have language for that, like in that introductory page. If this is gonna be a standalone document, then it needs to have some kind of introductory page that talks about that, about Act 250. I think it should talk about the tier 1 and like that also, and how that could, I mean, there's a little piece blurb at the beginning, but it's not very, you know,
Yeah.
the impression is that you're going to be exempted, and that's not true if you live in if you are in tier
Right.
2 or 3,
Yeah,
so,
that's a fair point.
yeah.
And I
you
get
know,
that subdivisions are for the entire town, but this Act 181 was basically just to encourage housing with Act 250 exemptions for projects up to 50 units within a 10-acre area in village centers only.
Right.
So
you
that's
have-
that's what the planning commission originally reached out to us for, because we had nothing about subdivisions really that
Right.
would even speak to this, so that's what, and so that, I think, was where we kinda got steered off, thinking that's where the focus was just gonna be.
Well, you
and
can't
not-
just focus on that, though. You have to focus on the whole town.
Right, but it should
But-
almost
but
be,
you
it
have to
should
have
be
sub-
separated, it
but
should
you
be
have to- No,
separated.
you can't. I mean, you can't have subdivision for one part of town and,
Well, yeah, you can, because a lot of area in town, and I think you spoke to this up in the library property, that would have Act 250, whereas the village would be exempt, because the state's focus was just on villages.
right, but you
And
have to have
housing.
subdivision regulations for the whole town
Right,
to qualify for tier 1.
right, but what I'm saying is that it almost, I think, would have been clearer if it was all subdivisions for the whole town, and then this section kind of hollowed out as a separate piece of it with a focus on village centers. I think that's,
I don't know if that's legal or not.
Well, you're going to have to put some kind of map in that delineates what the village or town center is to qualify under tier 1A and tier 1B.
Well, that's what the zoning administrator would do, and that's what the pre-hearing would do.
Right,
That
but
they would
that
come in
map already
and they
exists.
they would, I mean, the village area is defined, is already delineated on other maps.
Right, that's what I'm
So,
saying.
I mean, we could include a copy of that map, I don't think it makes any difference. But those areas are already delineated on the zoning maps and on the regional maps.
Right, but that would be, this area would be the only area that would be for tier 1,
Right.
A and B, so why wouldn't you delineate that so that it's clear that
I'm saying you could.
Yeah.
You could include that map with this document, it makes no difference.
Yeah,
I mean, it may clarify it, but those maps are available in other documents in the town.
but this is gonna be a standalone document, right?
Sure, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, so I mean, you can refer them to the zoning bylaws and say this is the map that, we're using. Or you can take a copy of that and put it in here. Like I said, to me, it doesn't make any difference. Because the maps are available if anybody comes in and does their research, or the zoning administrator will refer them to the proper map.
And we definitely try to keep the document as small and short as possible too. So in my opinion, to add a map or any document that's shared just opens yourself up to more edits in the future. Like if one thing changes, you got to update it in multiple places. It's redundancy.
Right.
And and I think developers are used to going through all the process. And I think our target is developers, not the average Joe. I mean, the state, I think, was focused on 1B because they were trying to also focus on municipalities with sewer and water capacity and building out easy development. And I think that's why they were probably swaying everybody that this was all about 1B when it's really everything. And, it was almost a buy one, get one free. We did 1B, but we also did 1, and it addresses the whole town.
I just think that in lieu of that and having tiers, that the tiers should be addressed. I mean, that is something that is part of the whole new map that's going out, Rutland Regional is working on, is part of the LURB. So that should be somehow, that is part of this. It should be incorporated in the document. And sure, maps get updated all the time, but I mean, your town village designation is a designation,
Right.
so.
To include it in the intro, I think makes good sense. At least the verbiage and the explanation.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So hopefully we can all meet in February with Rutland Regional and clean the document up or see if those changes are possible or include some of the things if Rutland Regional,
They are the experts on the state changes, so we certainly rely on them.
Right. But just like have read and followed with other towns, just like with the LURB, we have a responsibility to our community, and other communities have not been so happy with things that they have been doing. And so that's where you have the ability to share and speak and decide what is best for your community. And our community is pretty unique. I'm not sure where you're putting 50 housing units within the village designation. So, I mean, while it all sounds good and with daily buy one, get one, the reality is some of these things just aren't really applicable to our town. So it's important to make sure what else we're doing is also benefiting the entire town. So, and we have seen, people who have worked with Rutland Regional, they're great, but we've also seen they come with a template and, sometimes they come and you're working here and everything in it says Castleton. So there's nothing wrong with, addressing questions and making sure that it's more tuned to our community.
We wish
have
we
tried
had
to
a,
focus on that.
we wish we had a select board member at all our meetings.
We will try to do that, but it's difficult when you have other,
Difficult for us too.
so. All right, and you're more than welcome. I mean, so, certainly to have someone come or send a report also to the select board as well. That's the other option.
Yeah, no, and I mean, just so you know, I mean, this is still a work in progress.
Sure, and that's why we wanted to
that's
calm
why,
down.
that's why we're having the meeting,
Yeah,
to get your comments before we go to the next step.
yeah,
And Logan, I don't know why he left or whatever, I have no
Sure.
idea, but, he did leave us kind of in the lurch with corrections to be made and things, this is, still redlined and whatnot.
yeah.
So it's good.
It does have to be adopted though by April.
Huh?
It has to be adopted by April.
Yeah, so I mean, we're moving along on it.
Yeah.
I mean, Logan, it's unfortunate that he left. And I don't know, hopefully we'll find somebody that can step up, whether it's even, Devin or whatever.
Yeah.
To at least get us to the April deadline.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, that sounds great. We appreciate your time and coming and having a conversation.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Is that yours?
Yes, it is.
Gave you those copies of this one?
Yeah.
But they were black and white because I didn't want to use
Oh,
all
I
my
thought it was
colored ink.
navy.
Oh,
I thought they were all navy blue.
I don't wanna use my colored ink in the copier.
Okay, here we go.
All right, okay, Jaden.
Hello.
So the final, everybody has a copy of the final draft and.
So everybody, so I'll pass these around, cause this is the colors. I did it black and white, cause I didn't wanna use all my ink in my printer. Mine's in color, but nobody else's is. So, thanks, Tom.
They're pretty much the same as we saw last time, just
Yep,
I fixed the
Those are just to pass out, so don't keep them.
Just
Pass
pass
them
it
to
around.
everybody.
Yeah.
I just want you to see the colors,
yeah, because everybody else just has like,
black and white.
it really looks like navy.
It does have
blue.
the black name.
So now that tree's not growing off the bridge anymore.
Yeah, no, it's good, better, you know, and both of them, they look nice. Yeah.
Yeah,
I like that color combo.
Yeah, me too.
okay,
It took me a couple tries. I think those two balance each other out really well.
Definitely. I definitely like the logo too. I think it's just all the verbiage on it. It's cool.
all right, anybody have questions, comments, next steps? I was thinking maybe like next steps, could we make these into like, stickers or even clings to have like at town meeting to give out?
Oh yeah, we probably could.
I would love that.
Yeah.
So, I think that this one would probably look better as a sticker.
Yep.
But I thought the flag might be interesting, just, you know, like as a cling, like the, kind of like the, I don't know, like the dump passes used to be. So you can put them on and take them off. They don't have to be, you know, permanent, how they go on your car or whatever, like a lot of
Yeah, I just
passes.
put one on the window downstairs from Cedar.
Yeah, a lot
They're
of
just
them are
like, yeah.
kind of
Just
like a
slap them on and they
flimsy
stick
glass,
to
yeah. Like window clinks.
it. Yeah.
So maybe we could have some of those made up and hand those out at town meeting. I think that would be a nice thing to have out. Okay, all right.
Do we need a motion, Lisa, to accept these as?
We did that at the last meeting. I thought we accepted the final design with
Okay,
the,
yeah,
with
okay,
the
yeah,
changes.
all right, I didn't
I
remember
want to
that.
say that that's what we did, and then he was just, yeah, Linda made the motion to go with the green and blue flag seal and changes to the oak tree for the flag. and
Okay, yep.
seal. Yeah,
Yep,
the seal would show roots, yeah.
yep.
So we did that at the last meeting.
And I could see what it would cost to just to do a flag,
Sure.
like an actual flag, because that would be kind of cool to have at town meeting. It's a one flag in the.
What I believe it to be is when I talked with a company called Awesome Graphics in Rutland.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Actually. They said I think about $30 for that
Okay.
one to be printed.
All right. I actually think they could be on, Awesome Graphics is on the perk card that I just got today.
Oh, yeah.
And I
there.
think they have a percentage off too, so I
Oh,
could
nice.
see if that would work.
Yeah, okay. Yeah,
I
that could be
called them
interesting.
Months ago.
Yeah.
to ask.
Okay, cool.
All right. So we'll look into doing that and having those out to hand out then at, Monday night at town meeting.
Nice.
All right? Great. Thank you very
They will have your
much.
photo next to it.
Yeah.
It'll be thank you.
And you can sit there and hand them out.
Autograph, you can autograph the stickers.
Okay, all right, great.
thank
Thank you. Yeah, we appreciate all your work on that.
Well, could you email me when you, how are you gonna put it out there? Do we have a flag? No?
I think maybe announce it at the town meeting.
Yeah, I think that's what
'Cause
we're gonna do.
I do a report and I'll, it'll be
Yeah.
there, but then I can, recognize
And then
you and
we'll-
why we did it and how we did it and stuff. Yeah.
Am I gonna put it on the website?
Yeah, I could do that
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely,
Our website really needs some help too, so.
yeah. Okay, all right.
So if you want to help with that,
Yeah,
let
maybe.
me know.
I know a little bit about web design.
Okay.
I want to help.
All right.
Stop it.
I'll keep you busy.
Uh-huh.
Do you want to work for the Otter Creek Mosquito District?
Okay, all right, great.
thank you very much.
And we'll get on that, and yeah, we'll have that all for town meeting.
Yes.
All right.
Sorry to make you sit through the whole meeting.
No,
Yeah.
it's fine.
The next one is Mortimer Proctor application from the town, and everybody has that in front of you. The request is for $10,998. And it's for lamp posts. We had a lamp post that was broken. We also have had some issues with those lamp posts and having, I don't know, it's like the conduit inside after a while, it wasn't good. So like you had 4 posts and like only the far south one and the front 2 had power to them.
Right.
The one never, the power never worked, so.
So, what I want to do is have 4. I don't like the way they're situated out there. I wish they were kind of sporadic, like one here, one set back, one over here, one not in a square. But anyway, I'd like to have 4 there, and I'd like to add 2 more on the north end of the park, just to kind of light up the whole park. So that's what I went out to bid for. am waiting for clarification because one came back with more of the digging and the concrete around the base, and another one didn't.
Yeah.
I haven't got a bid yet for the concrete if we didn't have the electrician do it.
Oh.
So, but both were pretty much the same pricing.
Okay.
The lamps were much pricier, but they're nice looking, I think. And
A little more like in the older style? Or-
yeah,
Yeah,
I
okay.
think I can think I might have it here. Let me. One second, go ahead for it, Josh. You can pass those around.
Oh, okay.
So-
So they have more
Yep.
on them. Gotcha.
And also, we had a MERP grant that was given to us 2 years ago, maybe 3 years
Yeah.
ago, for energy use, and that's when they bought those little beavers.
Yeah.
And we still have like $1,700 left of that grant. So I met with the planning commission last week, and I am going to try to use that balance towards these. So that way, when we go to try to get the Mortimer Proctor, we're actually trying to put some money up towards it as
Yeah.
well. So that could put a dent in it, and I think that's what I put in the
Yeah, you did
thing.
write that
So,
on. Yeah,
yep.
yeah. Okay. And so where, are you gonna change where those are, or you just for
It
cost
depends
wise,
on,
they'd have to be?
it depends. If it's too costly to move them and rewire
Yeah.
them another location, then
Yeah.
yeah, I'll probably leave them.
It's just when you, yeah, I wouldn't wanna like kill this area over here as an open area, I mean.
Right, right,
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, they probably would look nicer if they were a little like along the
Well, not even,
street or something.
yeah, or even like one back, one forward, one back, one forward, you know, kind of
Yeah.
like that, so that they lit up the park and not just a,
Yeah,
but I think like when we have concerts and stuff, it'd be nice to have one towards this end,
yeah, it
just
always,
for,
yeah. I think when they did it, it was the path of least resistant because of all the
right,
junk marble in there.
oh, yeah,
So they were trying just to
Keep it
dig
in one,
where
yeah.
you could actually
yeah.
find a place. That seems to be the biggest problem. Okay, so a motion would be in order to approve the application for MRP.
So moved. Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously. A motion would be in order at 6:58 to enter the Board of Water Commissioner.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Yeah.
All right, and do we have anything in water?
No, we don't have anything about it.
Okay. We can leave water and go into sewer at 6:58.
So moved.
Second,
Second.
all those in favor? And anything in sewer, anything about the lagoon? anything-
Well, I'm waiting to hear from the engineer. He called last week and I missed his call. I called him back and I haven't heard back. So he's gonna try to update me on the sludge removal, the lagoons, and then going forward with the bids for, the construction in the spring. So he'll go over that with me. We also had a report for an E. coli at the wastewater treatment plant.
Yeah,
And we've been testing continuously for that. It was really high and then it went down. And then we got it below where it didn't have to be noticed anymore. And then it went back up again. So we're trying to figure out if it's the lights. We just ordered 2 new valves, which were just replaced. And he was testing today, so I won't know anything until tomorrow.
okay.
So we're trying to catch where it actually is happening, so.
They've been very good though, about doing the reporting,
Oh, they've been on top of
notifying,
it.
everything,
Yeah.
yeah.
Because I get them on my phone, a ding, and it'll say
Yeah.
A&R's got a report, and when I see Proctor, it's like,
Yeah.
because you never see Proctor. So,
All right, motion would be in order to leave Board of Sewer and enter into the select board meeting.
Motion to move?
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, sheriff's report.
a lot of interesting things in the show.
Yeah, it was,
this
it was like reading a Saturday Night Live script this time, I felt like.
That's why I stayed.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's so interesting.
It was.
I'll make a copy for you next time, see?
It was strange this time, so.
I mean, they've definitely been working a lot in
Yeah.
terms of getting fines and
Yeah.
pulling people over, so.
2941, yeah.
Yeah, 22 tickets, 14 warnings, and almost 3,000, or 2950 in,
Yeah,
Do we get a percentage or?
we do, we get a portion of that. Yeah, it's not
I've
much.
Forgotten what the,
yeah, it's pretty low, I
But I
think.
think
Yeah.
last year, I want to say, was it under 3,000, something like that?
Yeah, it's not very
Yeah.
much.
no,
And the nice thing in this report is, they made an appearance on many of the streets in town.
Yes,
You know, And
yeah,
it's nice to see, sometimes
Yeah.
it seems like they're
right.
limited as to the number of streets that they make appearances
Yeah.
on. But in this report, you
Yeah,
know,
and I
they-
see them everywhere, like I do see
details.
them
Yeah.
bouncing around a lot. They're across from my house a lot, which I don't like that.
yeah,
Well, we know why.
well, yeah.
Well, this one had Kane Street, and I don't think I've seen Kane Street for a while.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It just seemed nice.
Right.
And there was a lot of streets that,
Yeah,
they make an appearance.
and
just think.
I did mention this in my manager's report, but last week you had questioned about the directed patrol.
Yeah.
And, they basically said that's focusing on specific locations when they have complaints a lot, or they've gotten a tip that they gotta be looking out for something. So it's a directed patrol, so.
Yeah, that's great.
All right, manager's report.
Okay, so, Public Works crew's been kept very busy with plowing, salting, sanding the past couple weeks, as well as picking up Christmas trees to dispose of them. I don't know, might be some stragglers out there for trees that, because most people put them out at certain times, so they can kind of gather them all.
Yeah.
We had a call today because someone hasn't been picked up yet, so, if you know of anybody, they can call, but just let us know where you are, because they didn't tell us where it was, so, but yeah, they've been really keeping up on the roads,
Yeah.
really well. I've even had other towns say that, like people who come through our town, how cleared up it is and stuff.
Yeah,
We had a tri-town meeting on the proposed bike paths through West Rutland, Pittsford, Proctor. UVM was the contractor to review the project and submit a report, which we all found unacceptable due to errors in their mapping. So this has been, I don't know how many months they've had this and going on and on about it. And then when we got it, the maps that they used, we gave them options A, B, C, and D. All those options, they moved the lines, they moved the map. We don't know why, or how they got to it. So yeah, none of us, the planning commission, Rutland Regional and myself, were not too happy about it. So, so we'll see, and we're hoping they get a quick turnaround to do another report without, because, we're at the end of this grant of the
Right.
project, so,
and what you have to apply for, this is a scoping grant.
right, yeah.
Yeah,
The skating rink had a really good number of people using the rink over holidays and weekends, good ice making weather, which
Yeah,
kind
their
of fizzled away
pictures.
right now. But I went over there one night and they'd had 138 people
yeah,
thus
the
far show
pictures
up.
look like they were full.
Yeah,
over
and
there.
people have come in and said the ice was great, so
That's
that's really
awesome.
good, yeah. So I told you about the E. coli, police report detail I told you about,
Yeah.
and Zion property in St. Johnsbury is going up for tax sale. Bless you. And so, I talked to them up there, the one property, is also a building that's kind of probably in better shape, well, I shouldn't say better shape than ours, but.
Is
it's-
it the
it's-
I building?
It is,
Yeah.
and it's not, it's probably, the only use for it would be storage. You couldn't do housing or anything, because it's right on the tracks. They also own 6 properties up in St. Johnsbury. And the property management company is taking over those and, trying to get caught up, so, But they haven't paid on the I-building for 8 months, so.
Yeah.
So it's gone up for tax sale, so. And we still haven't received any payments,
Gee.
And ours has been longer than 8 months.
yeah, like 3
Yeah.
years. So that's it for my report.
Okay. Any other old or new business? All right, hearing none, a motion would be in order to go into executive session to consider the verbal request for water service at 109 Deer Lane by Hillary Lambert, giving the premature general public knowledge of this matter would clearly place the town at a substantial disadvantage.
So moved. Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.